Hey guys, it's Karl. Today we are revisiting this monitor, even though we created a separate little setup on it around my PC gaming setup for the year. I just haven't found anything that can replace it yet, both in terms of price and in terms of, I guess, the questions that you guys had a ton over on social, because this monitor is in fact made by Huawei and it's their first time into the monitor space. And typically Huawei is known for making smartphones, especially their P series. I know that they no longer have Google mobile services, but they branched out with their own OS called Harmony OS, but into the PC space more for peripherals. So they've got a couple different monitors to choose from. This one specifically is the Mateview GT, their gaming specific monitor. As with most gaming monitors, they have that ultra-wide aspect ratio, so 3440 by 1440, 165 hertz refresh rate, a 34-inch panel. You can snag this for around 500 US or 750 Canadian. I know that Huawei isn't technically available everywhere, but this is actually a pretty solid entry considering what you get and considering some other options that are on the market. And since we're doing a bit of a deeper dive, I am gonna convince Huawei to send one of these out. Worst case scenario, they send out some of their other peripherals or accessories, but just leave a comment down below what game you would rock on this ultra-wide beast, and yeah, I will get them to hook one of you guys up. I guess that's just kind of one of the perks for this video being sponsored by them. So yeah, big shout outs to Huawei. Back to the actual monitor itself. Like I said, for pricing wise, so if you think about it, I'm gonna use the monitor which I have behind me. I think a lot of you know I'm rocking the Pro Display XDR with, of course, the stand. The stand alone costs $1,000, which is ridiculous for a piece of aluminum. This guy comes with a fully built-in stand that actually has a functioning soundbar, which is something that you don't typically find in monitors. I know if you're a true hardcore gamer, you'll probably swear by a pair of over-the-ear headphones, but for the built-in audio for this blows out anything else on the market. Typically, monitors either don't have built-in speakers or the speakers are so poor you need to actually listen to something else. So the size of this is pretty decent. Let's get actually a vid going pretty quick. That is pretty decent sound coming from a set of speakers, and this light bar, you can actually control the volume if you want. So if I can get this finger to go on, you can even feel like your own little DJ in the club. And this light bar here, you can actually change the colors. You can even make it strobe, do all these fancy lighting effects. I typically just like to have mine just as the standard white. But for this soundbar, when you think about it, you can spend easily $50, $100, $150 on a separate pair of speakers. You've got this built into the base, and like I said, you've got other people that you know, behind me that sell a base alone or a standalone for $1,000 plus. I know that Apple is its own little beast, but typically other LG monitors that I've looked at, all you get is, of course, just the solid stand that doesn't even have speakers on the actual monitor. So I think that's a ton of value. You can also get this without the built-in speaker, but it's the same price, so you might as well just grab this anyway, even if you decide to wall mount it or anything. I think that's definitely something to consider, and obviously it's nice to have. Not everyone listens to music on earbuds or uses over-the-ear headphones, and some people still like to jam out, whether you're playing games, listening to music, just watching content with a set of speakers, and you can definitely just get by using this alone. Obviously, the second reason to grab this is that refresh rate. That's the reason why you're looking at a gaming ultra-wide monitor. There are monitors with quicker refresh rates that are obviously more expensive. There are ones that are typically smaller. I think that 24-inch range is the optimal gaming monitor for those really sweaty Call of Duty lobbies. But ultra-wide gaming is a ton of fun. It's really immersive, so I've been rocking a lot of Halo on this. I think ultra-wides are great for racing games, so if you're an F1 fan, the next F1 series is coming, or I guess the next F1 season is coming. Right now, all the teams are kind of releasing their liveries. Does that make me not a real F1 fan, even though I was a fan of F1 before everyone else jumped on board through the Netflix series? But anyways, hopefully we see the Montreal Grand Prix or the Canadian Grand Prix circuit Gilles Villeneuve again. That's the one that I've been racing on here on this game, and I'm curious who is going to win the championship this year. Max, what a race at the end of last year. Oh my God. Depends on which side of the camp you're on. If you're on Team Lewis, if you're on Team Max. It was just kind of fun to see such an epic race. I will leave it at that. Back to the monitor. If you are a gamer, there's actually some really cool features built in. So it does have a couple game assists. For example, it does have dark field contrast. So I remember when Call of Duty, every single person in every lobby was rocking the rose skin on the old Verdansk map. You could not see those sweaty people camping in corners. This will help boost shadows, so really useful for first-person shooter games. It even has built-in crosshair, so if you are using some of those snipers without the crosshair or like to hip fire, for example, I will just stick that little crosshair on, you will always know where the center of the display is and where you can actually hip fire from. So nice little hacks there. You can also go over onto the picture profile or the picture mode. Right now it's set to P3 color gamut. You have around over 1 billion or 1.07 billion colors. Lighting effects, like I said, I've got mine set to orange so you can see a little strobe light going off. So really kind of handy, I guess, at night when some of the LEDs glow a bit better, but of course that's all personal preference. And in terms of, yeah, the performance I've been using it for, like I said, the gameplay experience that I've had has just been solid. It's been hard to find a monitor in and around this price range with an ultra wide view. And of course this is curved, so you've got that slight immersion on both sides. I think Huawei has done a great job getting into the space. And I know a lot of you have been asking for your own PC setups, what monitor you should rock. I will say for the build quality, honestly, it is made out of plastic. So when we actually kind of turn this around or turn this sideways, we'll pivot this entire little felt pad here. You can kind of see the curved nature. It is just black plastic at the back. It isn't full metal like we've got on the Pro display, but honestly, who looks at the back of monitors? One thing I wish they did do, I think they did cheap out on, is the cable management on the back. So you do have some decent IO ports. What I do like, you do have USB-C to, of course, charge and actually give it power. You've got 2 HDMI ports, and those are HDMI 2.1 for those of you that want to connect this to, say, an actual console. We've got a display port, which I'm currently running, an extra USB-C port, and an audio jack. If this just had a little plastic panel or for some way for these cables to be better managed, because if you are a stickler for how things look, you can see once this is kind of rotated back, these cables have nowhere to hide, so you will always see them from your desk. If they were just, yeah, somehow could be weaved into this little plastic stand, that would just make a lot more sense, and I think that's a really easy fix for Huawei to do next year. Articulation, you've got around 110 mils of wiggle room to kind of slide that up or down, and you can go from -5 to around 20 degrees, so you can kind of tilt that to your heart's content, and that really depends if you are rocking this on a little desk riser or a monitor stand riser. One last thing, because I've used this for 2 months, there's one little thing that still kind of bothers me, because most of us aren't lucky to have multiple displays for gaming, for work. We all typically just have the one machine. I've taken Zoom calls, I've taken team calls. This does not have a built-in webcam. So if you want to be on video, you need to attach something external, which is such a pity because it actually has 2 built-in microphones in it, or it's a smart dual mic. So that's just my one little pet peeve. But I think most people that end up grabbing this will be kind of suited or attracted to this for its gaming aspect. But yeah, kind of let me know what your thoughts are down below. If you are looking for a monitor in that $500 price range, I honestly can't recommend one more than this. I get that it might be your first time seeing the Huawei brand on a monitor, but for their first entryway, I think they absolutely smashed it. And I do realize that Huawei brand, depending on where you live, might be less or more available. So if it is an option in your area, definitely worth checking out, and definitely worth leaving a comment on this vid, watching it, sharing it, because I'm gonna bug Huawei to hopefully give one of these away. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review, and hopefully you guys now have a bit of a monitor choice for the rest of the year. Hopefully you enjoyed this vid, and I will catch the rest of you in one of my next episodes. Peace. P.S. for all you F1 fans, if you're still paying attention, I will create an F1 fantasy team or an F1 fantasy pool. We had one last year. I am the reigning champion. So you have me to beat. I will leave that in the description. That's it. You got to beat me this year. Liveries. Liveries?